How's it, everyone? Welcome to another string review right here on OpenCourt. I'm Kent, and today I'm reviewing another Diadem string. It's been a while since I tried a Diadem string. They actually sent me a big box of many different strings, and I picked one out today that I thought kind of suited my play style most according to the marketing. So today we're taking a look at the Diadem Pro X. Let's check it out. So this Diadem Pro X is a very interesting string because when I visited Diadem's website, the description of this string said that it's Diadem's most powerful but also firm option in their string lineup. That's kind of strange because powerful and firm are usually pretty diametrically opposed. Usually if a string is firm or stiff, it's going to sap the kinetic energy from the ball upon striking it. Softer, more flexible strings will help the ball string bed to pocket and launch the ball out. So powerful and stiff usually don't go hand in hand. I have to get this out on the court and see exactly what they mean, but I'm guessing that it probably means that the string plays a little bit more on the lively side, meaning that the string comes off the ball, the balls come off the string a little bit faster than a typical poly. This string also has a hexagonal cross section. It says right here, hexagon shaped poly. So it's going to grab the ball, provide spin to get the control, but it's also supposed to provide that explosiveness according to Diadem. So power, control, and spin all balanced into one string. That seems pretty ideal. We'll have to see exactly if it checks out. The good thing about this string though is that it comes in 5 gauges, the thinnest gauge being 115 and the thickest gauge being 130, going in increments of 5 millimeters. So if you want a lot more spin and feel, you can go the thinnest gauge, 115. If you want more control and durability, go the 130. I'm personally using the one right in the middle today, is the 125 millimeter, and that's the most balanced. It also comes in 2 colors, silver and blue, and I'm using the silver one today, and it actually reminds me a lot of 𝐦𝐨𝐵𝐿's Tour Bite. When I was stringing it, it felt very similar to the touch, and the color is virtually the same, and one set of this will cost about $13.95. If you guys are interested in checking out Diadem strings or even their rackets like their Elevate or Nova series, check out my link below to the Diadem website. You can use that link to get a discount on your order, and it greatly supports the channel, so I appreciate it. Okay, so I got the Diadem Pro X strung up in my Diadem Nova Tour version 3, and I got it strung at 54 pounds both ways. That's usually the tension that I string at these days, and it's the 125 gauge. And as you can see, it looks very similarly to Tour Bite or even Headlink's Tour. Headlink's Tour is also a hexagonal string, so that's probably a better comparison. So I'm excited to get this string out on the court, see if it really does deliver that explosive power along with that stiffness. So let's get on the court, but before you do that, if you guys like this content and want to see more, be sure to overhead smash that like and subscribe button to keep the reviews coming. So let's start with the pros of the Diadem Pro X. This string reminded me a lot of 𝐦𝐶 Tour Bite at first because of the response, spin, and control. However, that changed over time. However, since Tour Bite is one of my favorite poly strings, I felt very comfortable at the beginning, and I was able to hit many of the shots in my arsenal with ease and play my signature style of aggressive first strike tennis. I like Tour Bite for its crisp, firm feel on my aggressive strokes, and the Diadem Pro X had a similar feel. It didn't have quite the same pop sensation and sound on a solid hit, but it still did a good job at giving me the necessary feedback to hit aggressively and confidently from the baseline. The marketing for this string described explosiveness, and I honestly felt that was an accurate description for this string, as it felt nice and lively on full strokes and it allowed me to stay on offense most of the time. The Pro X also had some decent power, and my ground strokes and serves were able to push my opponent around. Although this string had a similar crisp response to Tour Bite, the Pro X has much better ball pocketing and dwell time. The Tour Bite is a stiff string, so the ball tends to die and lose kinetic energy upon striking the string bed, but the Pro X was able to maintain more energy return for hitting pace. The dwell time also allowed me to aim my shots into the corners like a slingshot, and I was able to pressure my opponents with my aggressive strokes. The power and pace was also present on my serves. The crisp response made me feel confident on my flat serve as I could tell where exactly I was hitting, and the pocketing also produced good pace on my serves. The slice flat hybrid serve into the body or into the corner was my most effective serve, and it allowed me to employ my serve and volley strategy for doubles, but also created opportunities to hit an approach shot if I didn't immediately rush the net. Next pro is the spin potential. This is another parallel to the tour bite. The Pro X's shaped profile really grips the ball and produces good ball rotation. I don't think spin potential is as good as tour bite, but it is still respectable when judging it on its own merits. Honestly, I felt the spin the most on my slices. I think this is because of the dwell time. The strings grab the ball for a split second, then launch it off with tremendous rotation. This feel of the strings grabbing the ball is further enhanced by pushing through the point of contact on my backhand slice. I honestly could have just hit slices on my backhands for just about every shot and I would have felt comfortable. The spin definitely would benefit a player with a vertical swing as well, in my opinion. Although I tend to hit through the ball on my forehand, I was able to lift up on anything hit below my knees, and I felt the strings bring the ball diving back down into the court. The string displacement is higher than stiffer strings like tour bite, and this is why I feel someone with more vertical mechanics could benefit from something like the Pro X. The spin generation also helped my kick serve to be an effective weapon. Because the string has some give and flexibility, I didn't need to work so hard snapping my wrist to bring the ball down. In fact, I actually focused more on hitting up on the ball with my pronation to increase the topspin after the bounce. This reduced the speed of my serve, but it allowed for a much higher bouncing kick due to the looping trajectory of the serve. In my playgroup, many of my hitting partners have begun to try to take my kick serve off the rise because they've been playing against me for so long, they know when my kick is coming. By focusing more on swinging up, I could throw off their timing on the return, which led to some free points. This was only possible because I could trust that the Pro X would grab the ball and bring it down inside the service line. Lastly, the crisp feel. This allowed me to hit just about every shot in my arsenal, including all of my front court shots. I like the ball pocketing on my drop shots and angle volleys because the way the strings cradle the ball for a split second allows me to be very precise with the direction and height of these shots. The crispness also feels great on approach volleys and low volleys in general because I can keep the ball low over the net to prevent my opponent from teeing off. And lastly, the crisp pop feels awesome from the baseline. When I connect on a full swing, the feedback I get in my arm makes me feel like I can hit any spot on the court with an aggressive swing, and that is precisely the response I love. The only thing that was detracting from this playtest was the fact that I strung this in my Diadem Nova version 3. This racket is so muted that it takes away from the best aspect of this string. The fact I felt this string was crisp even in this super dampened racket gives me hope that the Pro X would feel even better in a racket like my Speed or Boom that isn't as muted. I don't think the Pro X is as good as Tour Bite in terms of crisp feel. It feels more comfortable and powerful, which is something people want. Now let's get into the cons of the Diadem Pro X. There is only one glaring con in this playtest which places it firmly below Tour Bite and other strings I like, and that is the tension maintenance. I am usually not a stickler when it comes to tension maintenance because I cut out strings well before they break or lose a significant amount of tension. However, with the Pro X, I felt the tension loss quite quickly, and this really affected the best parts of this string, including the control. As I put more and more hours of playtime on the strings, they started to get noticeably springier and I started to sail my aggressive forehands past the baseline. The Pro X already has some pretty decent string movement to begin with, so when the tension dropped, the trajectory became really hard to control. I had to focus really hard on coming over the ball so the trajectory was low enough that I wouldn't hit long. This was especially problematic on my approach shots. I like to come up to net as much as possible, so I look for opportunities to force my opponents into giving me an attackable shot inside the baseline. I didn't have the confidence to swing big on these approach shots. Rather, I just focused on keeping my shot low over the net, and this resulted in my opponent being able to hit back low at my feet. Ideally, I would like to hit that approach shot deep with pace to force my opponent into a defensive shot, but I couldn't execute this strategy consistently with the Pro X once the tension dropped. Honestly, the tension loss and lack of control on full swings after the drop is the only con I had with this string, but unfortunately, this is what makes this string not something I would take into a tournament. I need something that I can trust will perform consistently and predictably over the course of at least 3 to 4 matches, and the Pro X doesn't meet that criteria. This is, however, the best Diadem string I've tried so far, and the feel, power, and spin are above average. I think I would pre-stretch this string if I were to use it again. That would probably mitigate that initial tension drop and make the string play more consistently longer. However, that would also make the string a bit stiffer and probably lose some power. But I would make that trade any day. So now, who is the Diadem Pro X string for? I think it's for players who have aggressive swings and likes to play a first strike style of tennis that needs the crisp feel to land their aggressive shots into the corners and needs spin to keep them inside the lines. Just be wary of that initial tension loss. Also, I think it's for players who are looking for a softer alternative to tour bite. The Pro X has similar properties, and I hear many players complain that tour bite is too stiff. If that's the case, give this string a try. It's about the same price, and I think it plays a bit stiffer than the tour bite soft and has about the same level of power. If you play with a tighter string pattern like an 1820, I think the Pro X would play much more predictably in terms of the launch angle, but still provide decent pop and pace. I might try this string again in my Speed Pro. I don't think the feel and the launch angle complements my Diadem Nova racket even though it's the same brand. So now, let me know what you think of this string if you've tried it. What is your favorite Diadem string? What is your favorite alternative to tour bite? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and remember, if you want to try this string or any other Diadem string, use the link in the description below for an awesome discount. Thank you for watching this review of the Diadem Pro X string right here in OpenCourt. If you guys are interested in this string or any of other Diadem's products, be sure to use the link below. And as always, if you guys like this content, be sure to overhead smash that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you on an OpenCourt.